We're getting better at this.
Yeah, we can do this.
We're awesome. Okay.
We got this.
Hi. Hi. Welcome to Coffee with Kansas City, your weekly source for all things caffeinated birth and parenting. I'm Mallory.
And I'm Sunny, and we own Kansas City Family Birth. Today we are going to talk a little bit about breastfeeding. It's all things glorious,
But not only.
it's a bunch of shit.
So we're going to talk about breastfeeding uncensored, and we're going to touch on some of the things that you might not have read in your parenting magazines.
I, with my first, had wanted to breastfeed, and she was in the NICU, and we had a lot of struggles, and we couldn't. And Olivia, my second, was born. She latched right on it, and it was this like glorious, oh! I think my midwife cried tears of a unicorn. And then like 30 minutes later, I realized that it was not all that it's cracked up to be. And that's really normal.
It can be rough. There are rough parts of it. You can end up with things like cracked and bleeding nipples,
Claw marks,
blood blisters,
mastitis,
claw marks, clogged ducts. You don't end up with any of that other stuff. You're gonna leak some milk.
I just want to break the silence and say, like, you don't have to love it. If you are like a goddess in a flower crown, great.
You roll with it, girl. I wanted to talk a little bit about a couple of myths that are really prevalent. One of them involves my favorite beverage.
This is coffee this time. Speaking of coffee, it's totally okay to have that coffee while you're breastfeeding.
Totally fine. Everything we're going to say, there are exceptions to these rules. You're probably fine to have a cup of coffee, or two, or three. It's fine. Drink the coffee.
Food, same idea. There's not really anything that you need to automatically avoid. Occasionally, a baby might be a little fussy or have some food intolerances, but definitely should not be the first thing that you jump to if you do start noticing issues. That would be the time to talk to a lactation consultant, evaluated for a lip tie, tongue tie, gas, things like that are generally going to be your first bet, because food intolerances in breastfed babies are pretty rare.
So a lot of times we see in mom groups, I had to dump, 6 ounces of milk because I had a margarita. No, please don't dump your milk. Alcohol filters out of breast milk, and if you're fine to drive, you're fine to nurse. The amount of alcohol that actually gets into your milk is like it's something very, very minuscule.
Honestly, like in the evening, sometimes I'll nurse the baby while I'm having a glass of wine. Totally fine.
Medications are another one. A lot of women, especially women who are experiencing PMADs or perinatal mood and anxiety disorders, will refuse to be medicated for those. And the reason that they cite is that the medication will get through the breast milk into baby. Now, we don't necessarily have science either way, but
the overwhelming opinion generally is that most medications are safe while you're breastfeeding. There's a really, really great resource called the Infant Risk Center. They keep a log of every medication you can think of. It's infantrisk.com. If you are prescribed a medication, check the medication and find out the current recommendations for that medication. That also goes for, and we hear this a lot, women who are going to have surgery, they're told that they have to pump and dump. That is generally not true. It's usually safe to breastfeed or start pumping fairly soon after surgery. You can always have your provider go to infantrisk.com or call the Infant Risk, and they will calculate half times based on your medication and let you know the safe, appropriate time.
some moms won't take the medication that they really, really need, or they stop breastfeeding when they don't necessarily need to. So it's important to know if the risks are going to outweigh the benefits of breastfeeding. Something that we wanted to touch on was combo feeding, and we have lots of clients who have done combo feeding where they've both breastfeed and they supplement with either donor milk or formula. And I think it's important to understand that it's not all or nothing. It's awesome that we're promoting breastfeeding, but I also think that sometimes it puts breastfeeding on a pedestal, and there are things you need to consider, including your own well-being, your baby's well-being.
I always tell people that it's more important to me as your doula that your baby have a happy, healthy mom. Breastfeeding is not always a viable option for everyone, and that's okay. There's some people that breastfeeding actually negatively affects their relationship with their baby, and that's not doing the baby any good. You're feeding your baby, and we're really proud of you for that.
There's just not a right way. And people on the internet, especially on the internet,
We're looking at you, interneters.
we're looking at you. People on the internet find it really, really easy to criticize a mom for things like if she chooses breast milk or if she chooses formula. And quite honestly, though, just feed your baby. Okay, so we are going to do our breastfeeding favorite things.
My favorite thing is the Spectra pump. I am not really a pumper, but this thing, I used to love my Medela. I swore by my Medela, but I will never put my boobies in anything but Spectra ever again. It's got a better, less mechanical section, so I respond really well. It's also a closed system. People don't realize a lot of the Medela and stuff are not safe to resell because it's not a closed system.
Yeah.
So this is my favorite thing for breastfeeding related boob stuff.
Boobs. My favorite thing, I'm not really going to be able to demonstrate, but I will link an awesome video below that will help you understand what I'm talking about. But my favorite thing for breastfeeding is the breastfeeding position. Don't meow at me. Biological nurturing. So it's actually a hold or a technique that we use very often with our clients, and we've seen awesome success with it, and I've seen awesome success with it personally as well. I used it with my third baby, and I saw a world of difference. I didn't deal with a whole host of problems that I had with my other two babies. Basically, biological nurturing, how we use it is mom will be in sort of a reclined position. It's also called reclined nursing or laid back nursing. You pull them up like this, they're working against gravity. When you push them back like this, they're working with gravity because they need to come down onto the breast. So biological nurturing, I will link it below so that you can see it for yourself. It is wonderful and I highly recommend it.
I hope you enjoyed coffee with us. It's getting cold, so we're gonna go get a top up. But we will see you next week. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and tell all your mom friends because we are up to a bunch of crazy things.
Yeah, see you next time. Woo! Don't you meow at me.
Come here.
Get up on my YouTube video.